Hey guys, I have a very important video. This is about the calcium and phosphorus ratio in your body, why it's so important, what happens when calcium and phosphorus are out of balance. Spoiler alert, has to do with parsley, has to do with vegetable juice, in terms of being an asset for these things. And this is mostly concerning the Primal diet through that lens and dietary recommendations in that vein. If you are not full Primal diet or whatever, these are things you can still incorporate to make a difference. So as you can see behind me here, I have a little PowerPoint prepared, and the calcium and phosphorus balance, here's an overview. The optimal ratio is 1.2 to 2 to 1. Calcium being slightly higher. 2 of that ratio being the upper limit. So at the low end, 1.2, at the high end, 2. So 2 calcium, 1.2 calcium, 2, for every phosphorus, 1 phosphorus. So both, or rather, try to think of it as the quantity of which food is consumed in proportionally. If that makes sense. So both of these minerals form something called hydroxyapatite for bones and teeth. You've probably seen these on TikTok Shop recently. I know I have. It's in toothpaste in a lot of countries around the world. And supposedly it has a lot of great effects for remineralizing the enamel, building up the enamel. I've heard things, though, that the hydroxyapatite in these toothpastes, they have a smaller arrangement than some cells. And I was reading one study offhand. I wasn't doing a deep dive, but it seemed that these hydroxyapatite molecules would penetrate cells in maybe a not so good way. Not cells or blood or something like that. This balance, this ratio, is also regulated by vitamin D. How do you get vitamin D? The sun. The parathyroid hormone is programmed to raise calcium. The calcitonin, which is a hormone, lowers calcium. It's also produced by the thyroid. So the thyroid, the parathyroid, is very important for this ratio. So keeping the thyroid in good health will help regulate this. Oops, I need to go to the other monitor. Excuse me. What happens when the ratio is skewed, you might ask? And these are signs that the ratio may be skewed in your own body. Excess supplementation. So if you're taking supplements, this is something that can cause problems. This is not something that's ideal. You see a lot of people, they're like, oh, I take calcium. But when I take calcium, I take magnesium because it helps. And then I also have to take zinc. And I'm taking vitamin D. And then I also have to take vitamin K2. You don't have to worry about all that. You just spend your money on food, guys. Just spend your money on food and sunlight. That's all you need. So people might have these problems because of supplementation or having low phosphorus in their diet. So when the phosphorus absorption is impaired, it leads to low energy metabolism, right? You also get soft bones and growth problems, kidney stones, tissue calcification, right? Because the kidney is having to deal with all this excess calcium the body has. It needs to get rid of it. It will also go into the tissues right? The arteries, not good. It also interferes with other minerals because they are interlinked, right? These minerals work in a balance. It isn't just the calcium and the phosphorus. That's the main topic. But when you look at zinc, you look at magnesium, these are other ones that come into play with these minerals. These are essential, though. I talked about these in my dental talk at the conference. That one of the main causes of tooth decay is because of this ratio, or rather the lack of this ratio. So soft bones, soft teeth, same thing. Oh, I forgot to do calcium. I skipped over it. So when the ratio is skewed, too much phosphorus. So on the other end, eating a lot of meat, right? If you're on an army diet, and I know some of you are, or you're cheating, soda, phosphoric acid. It's in a lot of sodas, guys. Low dairy. So just not eating enough dairy will spike your phosphorus. And I'm not talking about high meat. It should say high meat consumption. But that's across the board. It doesn't matter if it's raw or cooked. When you have too much phosphorus in the body, calcium is pulled from your bones. And this is why you see both of these in people who are on fruitarian diets, who are on vegan diets, even vegetarian diets to some degree if they're not doing enough dairy. And I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I don't have to. We've all seen the videos, but the body will leach to correct this ratio from calcium stores, your bones. Sugar spikes upset this ratio. So when you drink lots of soda as well, it spikes your blood sugar, which will also leach calcium from your body. Fruit as well. People think it's okay to eat fruit, eat a lot of fruit. No, it isn't. If you are eating a lot of fruit, you need to eat a lot of dairy and fats to counteract the effects of the sugars in the fruit. But at the end of the day, we are better off without so much fruit. I have here a very delicious fruit meal. It is alkalizing and not too high in sugar. It's very tasty. It's a unique combination. You wouldn't think to combine these things. I didn't even really think about it until I just thought, oh, what the heck, I'll give it a try. But it's amazing. If you want to find out what this combination is, I posted about it in my Skool community. Soft show there. Okay. So, again, we have not hyper, but the thyroid comes into play again. Elevated parathyroid hormones. This is the opposite of what is happening in the calcium. So when you have, what was it? The parathyroid hormone is having to raise the calcium in the body. So that's why hyperparathyroidism is in play here. soft tissue and vascular calcification. Different, and I misspoke here, tissue calcification is different when there's too much calcium. But when you have too much phosphorus, the tissues become softer and you have calcification in the vascular regions. Probably because the calcium is being pulled from the body to go into the blood to balance that ratio. I haven't verified that, fact check me on that, but that's my intuition. Muscle weakness and fatigue. This makes sense because it softens tissues. If it's calcifying vascular extremities, vascular pathways, that's going to prevent blood and oxygen going to where it needs to go. Raw food sources for a proper ratio. So this is how you fix it. Or rather, how you maintain a proper ratio for calcium and phosphorus. Raw dairy, raw milk, clabbered milk, cheese, hard cheese, soft cheese, cream, kefir. So cream in juice helps the adsorption of vitamins A, D, and K. And it helps mitigate oxalate issues. So for people who are concerned about oxalates in juices, you can add cream and an egg. You can also balance the high oxalate stuff with lower oxalate, mineral-rich vegetables. These juices would be kale, parsley, broccoli, beet with greens, so the whole beet root and beet greens, spinach, turnip greens, chard, dandelion. All of these boost calcium. So they're a good thing to have in your juice. Notice parsley is in there. And this is why you go watch my videos about celery juice is not part of the Primal diet. Guys, people who are telling you to drink celery juice or to just drink celery juice are wrong. They don't do the diet. Everybody, all my clients, people in random group chats, people who have seen this video, everybody has said parsley is a game changer. Parsley is amazing. Parsley helps me so much. You're going to consume less juice overall because you're getting more minerals, and yeah, it alkalizes you more because you're getting more of those minerals. The parsley is very mineral rich, so the parsley is very important. If you're using beet greens, spinach, turnip greens, those chard, those kind of have high oxalates. So using parsley in combination with those will help mitigate oxalates along with the egg and the cream. So that's very important to realize and to practice. Just drinking celery juice is not going to help balance the minerals in the blood and collate the free radicals in the blood. So this is a big reason why people have teeth problems on the diet or other problems with their bones, because they don't have this ratio. They're not minding this ratio. Augenis never really talked about this specifically, but if you pay attention to his recommendations, eating schedules in the book, and foods, this is what he's all but coming out and saying. It's the calcium to phosphorus ratio. He probably has mentioned this in the Q&As and such, but it's from what I recall, it's not emphasized. So I don't like to give amounts in terms of amounts of minerals and such, but for people at home or people who do like to do that, this is kind of that. So you're getting 1 to 1.2 grams of calcium and just under a gram of phosphorus. For each pound of meat, you want to pair with 1 pint to 1 quart of, and not at the same time, right? raw milk or cheese or clabbered milk, fresh milk, clabbered milk. Clabbered milk would be even better, but this is the ratio you want to eat throughout the day. You could also substitute the pint to quart of vegetable juice. Now, I would probably say for every pound of meat, it depends on how acidic you are, so this could vary from person to person, but I'd say the pint to quart ratio is still in play. For high calcium and magnesium vegetable juices, having the magnesium in the juice is also beneficial. So that's why, let's go back here, I recommend parsley and beet greens. You could even do spinach. Turnip and radishes, the roots and the greens, are also very good. I just juiced radishes for the first time, and they are a pleasant addition to the juice. I talk about radishes and their function in my vegetable juice guide, which is on my Skool. Another soft shell there. Again, ensuring adequate vitamin D in magnesium. Again, I talked about the magnesium in the juices, how you would get those. Yes, they are in shellfish, they are in cheese, it is in milk, but you're not getting a lot of it. The most concentrated sources would be like spinach, beet greens, maybe kale. I think parsley has a pretty decent source. So investigate that. I have a lot of this stuff broken down. Again, it's in my vegetable juice guide on my Skool. It's a comprehensive vegetable juice guide that goes into more of the vegetables than Ajanas talks about in his book. It's a synthesis of, Ajanas and other health practitioners and their experience and findings with vegetable juice, and integrating all of that into one concise document. It's about 10 pages long, 13 pages long. So if you're interested in that, up in your vegetable juice game, I'd recommend it. But the vitamin D is important because it helps the body regulate hormones and using these minerals in a proper way. So if you're not getting enough sunlight, your body's not going to function properly to maintain these things at a base level at all. It doesn't matter how good your diet is, right? If you're living in the dark and you're exposing yourself to too much artificial light, your body's not going to be able to function efficiently, even with all these minerals, even with the best diet. So if you're trying to adjust this level and maintain it in more of a balance, more raw cheese, soft cheeses, hard cheeses, they're all working. Eat it with a little bit of honey. Clabbered milk is better than fresh milk because it's fermented. It's basically halfway to cheese at that point. Vegetable juice can help raise calcium, as I mentioned. But keep in mind, it's important to pair the calcium with the magnesium, so making sure you're getting some of those leafy greens, the beet roots with the greens. Even like turnips and radishes, the roots with the greens is good. Chard, kale, broccoli is good. What else did I mention? Parsley, yeah, especially parsley. Parsley's like number one on that list. I'd recommend. And all the other ones are kind of gravy on top, unless you need some other support in areas like, with the beets, which I recommend to my clients in certain circumstances, some of which are censorable here. So I talk again more about that in my document and in consultations. And now that I'm thinking about it, I did forget one: carrot greens, carrot tops. So the carrot tops are reminiscent to parsley. And juicing those with the carrot, I believe, is a very good thing. And yeah, something to think about as well. When you get these vegetables with the greens, don't just throw them away. Juice them, okay? It's gonna be really good for you, I promise. Again, daily sunlight for vitamin D, 30 minutes minimum for survival. It should be more like an hour. 1 to 3 hours would be optimal. More is honestly better if you can. Use parsley. Green bean seed, yeah, I said that. So dandelion, that's another one. If you could find that, it's growing. In the spring, it comes up. It's everywhere. If you can get that, it's a good one to use. Kind of bitter, very strong, but good to use if you can get it. So that is the end. And if you have any comments, leave them below. If you are interested in learning more about this kind of stuff, I do have this in my Skool community. I have the vegetable juice document, other things. Skool members, you guys get discounts on consultations, herd share, signups, other new things that will be coming. So again, there's a lot of benefits. I'm probably going to raise the price as I put more things in there. I don't see this price getting more than $30. Definitely in the short term, it's going to go up $5. But yeah, if you sign up now, you lock in your price, and you get advantages of perks for all these other things too, like the herd shares, which is probably the biggest one right now, as well as just someone who's actually been on the diet for 8 years. This January can answer your questions. I'm there. We're having a weekly call every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to add a weekend call as well, and that's another reason why the price is going to go up. So if you've been thinking about it, if you've been on the fence, you've been warned, the price is going to go up. So take advantage of it while it's still there. And thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any comments below.